Welcome back again, everybody. Finally, we're getting into cleaning. So this module is going to cover chemistry, the chemistry of cleaning. How do we actually remove the soils on the fibers we learned about? So we ID'd them. We know what kind of fiber we're dealing with. We know what kind of soils there are. Now, how do we remove these soils? This is the good stuff where we learn about how do we clean carpet. So make sure you pay attention. This is a very important module. And one more time, I'm going to ask you guys to give me a thumbs up if you're getting value out of this series. And make sure you subscribe because there's still more on the way. So that's it for me. Get into this module and learn something. Talk to you in the next one.
Welcome to Professional Carpet Cleaning course, Module 6, Cleaning Chemistry. Before we start cleaning, it's important that we have a good grasp on certain things, not everything on cleaning chemistry, but we need to have a good grasp on several key points. Keep in mind, without a proper knowledge of how to use chemicals or how they work, you're going to damage a customer's carpet. So you need to know these things very well. No, we don't need to go to college and take a chemistry class or have an advanced degree of any kind, but we need to have a working knowledge of how these chemicals work. The basic four concepts we're going to cover is pH, detergents, solvents, and polarity. So the first one, pH. pH is basically, if you break it down, the measurement of hydrogen ions in a concentration. It's grams per liter of solution. But for us, we're going to be looking at it as a measurement of alkalinity or acidity. Basically, a number that's lower than 7 on the pH scale is going to be acid. A number that's higher than a 7 on the pH scale is going to be alkaline. That's the main thing we need to remember at this point. Also, the further away you get from 7, the more powerful a chemical is going to be. Now, when I say more powerful, pH increases at what's called a progression of 10. What that means is for every number you jump on the pH scale, the power of that chemical is going to increase tenfold or 10 times. So when we're looking at the chart on the right-hand side, we see that pH of 8 there. Right next to it in yellow, we see a pH of 9, 10 times more powerful than the 8. Now, look at the pH of 10, another 10 times more powerful than a 9, and 100 times more powerful than the 8. So as we increase each number, things can get really powerful really fast. So we do need to be careful. We don't want to just go crazy with our cleaning chemicals. Hey, that's really dirty. I'm going to go ahead and jump up to a 13 and clean it with that. Because then you're going to start doing damage to carpet. Carpets aren't designed to be cleaned with a 13. Yes, there are cases where you're going to be in a restaurant and there's no way you're going to get it clean with anything less than a 13. So yeah, you want to be able to use them, but you want to be smart enough to be able to use them correctly without damaging your client's carpet. So as we look at this again, we can jump from a 6 to a 4. And that's going to be 100 times more powerful. So from the 6 to a 5, 10 times more powerful. And from the 5 to a 4, another 10 times. So we have the 6 to a 5, a 10, and then 10 times 10 is 100. So that chemical that's jumping from a 6 to a 4, it's going to be 100 times more powerful. Now on the other side of the scale, if we have a pH of 9, and you're going to go to a pH of 13, remember, 10 times each number. So that 13 is going to be 10,000 times stronger than that 9. So as you can see, we can get really powerful really fast. Just remember, each number is 10 times the number previous. And the farther you get away from the center, which is 7, remember, you're going to have a strong alkaline on the right-hand side, and you're going to have a strong acid on the left-hand side. Also important to remember, any stain-resist carpet should not exceed a pH of 10. So be careful. Don't clean with anything higher than a 10 on anything that's stain resist. So what does it matter? Why do we need to know pH? What good does it do us to know which pH we're cleaning with? Well, it's going to help you in cleaning specific spots. And no, we're not going to know what every spot is, but sometimes you're going to know what a spot is. Usually people know if they'd spilled a Coca-Cola, or if they've been cooking with molasses, or if it's coffee, or yogurt. A lot of things are going to be able to identify just from asking the consumer, hey, what was this spot from? Oh, that's where my daughter spilt her Pepsi one day. So we know that that Pepsi spilled is a 3. We know that the coffee is a 5. We know that the yogurt is a 5. Are we seeing a pattern here? Almost all these food bases are going to be on the acid side. There are some exceptions. If you look on the right-hand side there, we have the egg whites and things like that. But most of what's on the right-hand side are soaps and different types of cleaning products. So if we know that most of what we're going to be cleaning is food-based, and we know that the food-based stains are going to be on the acid side, what we need to remember is to clean a spot, you need to go at it with the opposite side of the pH scale. Okay, so if we have an acid food, we need to clean it with an alkaline detergent. And that's very important to remember. We don't want to have an acid food and think, oh, well, I just need to go a little bit stronger on the acid to remove it. It doesn't work that way. You need to attack that stain, if you know what it is, with the opposite side of the pH scale. So remember, if you have a yogurt spill that's a 5, we need to hit it with something that's a 9. You don't have to go exactly with a 9, but you want to go something with that's alkaline. Remember, the higher the number, the stronger it is. You don't want to exceed a 10 on a stain resist, but you want to clean with a pretreatment or a detergent that's a 9 or greater. So you could clean with an 8, but it's going to take a little bit longer to release those stains. Clean with a 9 or a 10, and you're going to get a really fast result from your cleaning. So just remember this. If it's food that you're going after, you need to hit it with an alkaline product. Now, there are going to be some spots that you'll hit in a laundry room area or something like that, or a bathroom, and they're going to be soap spills. If it's a soap, like a shampoo or something that's spilled onto the carpet, you actually want to attack that with an acid cleaner. So you want to pre-treat it with an acid to get it to release. And remember, some shampoos, for instance, are going to foam like crazy. So you're going to have some sort of defoamer on your truck as well. So if you start hitting something and it's just coming up pure foam, that will clog a vacuum really quick and you'll lose all your suction. So have a defoamer of some sort. We'll cover that in another module. But it's very important when we're dealing with soaps, shampoos. If we're trying to clean them out and they're foaming, you're not going to be able to get it out unless you have some sort of defoamer to make sure your vacuum's working properly. So what kind of product are we going to use as a pre-treatment? Well, you're going to be using detergents. Now, a detergent can be soluble in water, but it also has the ability to grab oils. And that's what makes a detergent really powerful, because oil and water don't mix, obviously. But when you mix a detergent in that water, now oil can be dissolved inside the water. So on the right-hand side there, you see what a detergent looks like at the molecular level. It's going to have a water-loving end, and it's going to have an oil-loving end. So the water-loving end is just grabbing onto the molecules of water, while the oil-loving end is going to seek out any type of oil. Now, if we remember, the oils are what's attaching the soils onto your carpet. So we want to relieve those soils, remove them from the carpet fibers, and as a result, you're going to be able to release anything that's attached to the oil. Any of those heavy soils that are attached to the oil is going to come loose with the oil. So once you spray your detergent on and you agitate the carpet, those oils are going to come loose, break loose from the carpet fibers, and now they're going to be emulsified in the detergent solution. They're going to hold there until that solution dries. And that's a key point. You don't want to let the detergent dry, because once it dries, it's not effective, and all those oils are going to go back to where they want to go, and they're going to be attached to the carpet fibers again. You're going to have to rehydrate the detergent, respray it again, re-agitate it, and then start your extraction all over. So we want to make sure that when we're cleaning, we don't let those rooms dry out before you get a chance to clean them. So now once those oils are emulsified in the detergent, they can easily be extracted away. You're going to be extracting the oils, the detergent, as well as those heavy soils that have attached themselves to the oil. So everything's going to be rinsed away or absorbed away in your extraction step. So remember, water itself can't hold the oil, so we need to add a detergent, and that detergent's going to give the water an ability to hold those oils. Another thing we're going to be looking at is what's called synergy. So detergent is kind of a generic term. Now, if you're looking around at all the labels that are out there for different cleaning products, you're going to notice that it doesn't just say detergent. You're going to have things listed as this has oxidizer, this is powered by enzymes, this is a buffered solution. It includes anti-foam agents. It has specific solvents in them. All these things can be listed. They're usually not all together, but usually you can have an enzyme product that's buffered, or an enzyme detergent that's buffered, or a detergent that has an oxidizer in it. So those are very common. And the way Synergy works, so if you imagine a math formula of 1 plus 1 equals 2, with Synergy, it's more like 1 plus 1 equals 3. It's going to increase the effectiveness of any given detergent. So it's not just the detergent and the oxidizer working on their own, it's the detergent and the oxidizer working in tandem or together to create a more powerful product. So they're going to tend to enhance the detergent's overall effectiveness. So now when we look at Synergy, we're going to start looking with enzymes. We're going to go over all these types of products. Enzymes are added to a detergent in order to make it more effective against protein-based soils. Now this is for cleaning. There are enzymes that work specifically with deodorization as well. Enzymes work by breaking the bonds of the protein soils apart. So we have a protein soil, the enzyme grabs onto it and literally breaks it apart into two different pieces that aren't the same protein anymore. So if there's something, for instance, that's dried onto the carpet that is a protein or a food-based stain, as you spray an enzyme on it, that enzyme is going to instantly go to work breaking the bonds of those proteins apart. They're literally going to turn them into something else, or smaller pieces of what they used to be. This makes them easier to rinse out. Now keep in mind that enzymes work slowly, so you might have to give them 15 or 20 minutes to really work and really do their job. But keep in mind, we're going to have to give any detergent time, and that's part of the cleaning pie that we had in the last module. During that time, you need to be doing your scrubbing. So you're going to be giving it time anyway, and during that time you just are doing your scrubbing part of the pie. So the agitation is happening, the enzymes are working at the same time. You're not really just standing around waiting for them to work. You're doing another step in the process. So then we come to oxidizers. Oxidizers are additives that add oxygen to the detergent. And in a sense, they act as a color-safe bleach. They're not really going to attack the colors. They can. There are certain products out there that if you mix them too strong, yeah, you can pull some colors out of the carpet. But mixed properly, they work fantastic at helping to whiten carpet. They work especially well on a lighter color carpet in your chemical solution when they're used as a booster. So you can use it as a booster in a pre-spray, or sometimes if you're using a portable, you can use it in your rinse tank as a booster, and it helps to whiten those lighter colored carpets. Also on the bottom left hand side you'll see the Stain Magic. We'll go over more in depth on that specific product in a later module, but that product works fantastic on any coffee and tea spot. That is a must-have in every van. Now on the right hand side we have optical brighteners. This is a product that you don't want to use. No good chemical used for carpet cleaning should have an optical brightener in it. So keep that in mind. Do not use anything that says optical brightener. The way they work is they artificially make the spot that they're treated with brighter. So basically they're attracting UV light. So if it's used by a window, it artificially, instead of removing the spot, it artificially makes it look brighter or invisible. It kind of blends the spot. So if there's a little bit left over that hasn't been removed, it tends to make it more or less invisible so you can't see it. But it's not a good thing. You don't want to have that because you don't want to attract UV light onto the carpet surface, because then you could have a problem with UV fading. Now you can see evidence of their use if you use a black light, and you can see the picture on the right hand side there at the bottom. That is a spill of some sort, possibly a laundry detergent. A lot of laundry detergents have an optical brightener, and that center picture there with the black background, that is a laundry detergent under a black light. So you can see that it's glowing. That is the optical brightener that's glowing it's attracting the UV rays, and therefore it's exciting the molecules and it's glowing. Also, some spotters that are sold over the counter to customers can have optical brighteners in them, so you want to caution your customers as well. It is an extra service you can do for them. You can check their spotters to make sure they're not using optical brighteners, and then you can provide them with a new spotter for a fee, or just provide it to them for free as a service, something that doesn't have an optical brightener in it. Next, we're going to have buffers. Now, not all chemicals are buffered. I would caution you that you should use a chemical that is buffered. Basically, a buffered solution is going to tend to want to hold its pH. So think of it like this. You've diluted your solution and you have a ready-to-use solution. You spray that on the carpet. After it's sprayed, it's going to instantly start to evaporate. The water is going to want to evaporate out of that solution. As it's evaporating, you're going to have a stronger and stronger solution. So the water's coming out and the solution, the detergent's staying there, and it's going to tend to get more and more concentrated as more and more of that water evaporates out until the product is dry. So as it evaporates out, a buffered solution is going to want to hold its pH. So in this example, if you have a pH of 11 before dilution and then you have a diluted pH of 9.5, that's your ready-to-use solution or your working solution. Now, as the water starts to evaporate, the solution wants to go back to an 11. A buffer is going to try to hold that pH at a 9.5. It may increase some, it may go a little bit higher, may go to up to 9.8 or even closer to a 10, but it's going to resist going all the way back up to the 11. Now, an unbuffered mixture is going to want to go back to its original 11. So you have to be very careful if you're working with an unbuffered solution. It buffers down to a 10 for your working solution. As soon as you spray it, it's going to instantly start to go back up to the 11 as that water evaporates. So you don't want to use a product that's mixed to a working dilution and it's going to be a 10, but it's unbuffered, because you're not going to be cleaning at a 10 anymore and you're going to damage the carpet. Then we have anti-foam agents. Most good cleaning detergents have some sort of anti-foam agent in it. You don't want a good detergent to foam on you. As soon as foam is created, it makes your vacuum nearly useless. You're going to have no suction. So you want to make sure that the cleaning product that you are using isn't going to foam up on you. Next, we have solvents. Now, there's a few different solvents we're going to go into. We have the glycol ethers, alcohols, D-limonene, and odorless mineral spirits. In the past, there were more of these that were used. These are the ones that are really in use today. A lot of the older ones had health problems associated with them. People in the industry were getting cancer, and none of us want that. So they've gotten rid of some of these. Now, in different parts of the country, you may be able to get different things. I'm in California, and the regulations are a little bit tougher, so I'm pretty limited in what I can and can't have. If you're on the East Coast or somewhere that has a little bit more laxed regulations, you might be able to get some of the more risky products. I'm going to cover these. Safety is a concern. You want to make sure that you're taking into account when you're using these. So let's look at a few of these. First, we have the glycol ethers. These were used more in the past. There are some health concerns associated with anything that's a glycol ether. So you want to watch out. If you're using this, it can be absorbed directly through the skin. So you want to be careful. Also, they're in less use now because they had certain effects on the 5th generation dye resistors. So not in use as much today. I remember using this product a lot when I first started. So it's not in any of my cleaners now, but every now and then you'll see it in a spotting chemical or something like that, which isn't that big a deal. As long as you're not using your bare hands to apply it, you should be okay in a spotting situation. Next, we have alcohol. These are mild grease cutters. They're not going to be really strong. They are found in some sorts of shampoos, things like that. They're used to speed drying, so alcohol evaporates really fast. So if it's used as a carrier or an additive, it's going to help with drying quickly. Can also be used as a spotter as well. Next, we have the D-limonene. This solvent comes from citrus oils. It's really effective. It removes oils really well, grease, tar, things like that. So you'll find this in a lot of products, mostly spotting products, but you will see it in some detergents as well. It does have a very distinct citrus odor. It smells like oranges. It's unmistakable. So when you smell oranges, it's going to have this product in it. Make sure when you are using this as a spotter that you're rinsing really well. It does want to stick to the carpet fiber, so you need to make sure you do some extra rinsing on this product. And then lastly, we have odorless mineral spirits. This is typically used as a carrier to deliver another product. So it evaporates really fast. Some after treatments, protectants, things like that, use an odorless mineral spirit as a carrier. So the after treatment is dissolved in the mineral spirits. It's sprayed on. The mineral spirits evaporate out very quickly, leaving the product or after treatment on the carpet fiber. Lastly, we're going to talk about polarity. Polarity is something that we need to know about. There can be some problems that you can run into if you aren't familiar with the cleaning products that you're using and the charge that they carry. All detergents carry some sort of electrical charge. So it's either going to be positive, that's going to be called cationic. Some are going to be negative, that's going to be an anionic. And then we're going to have a non-ionic or no charge at all, or neutral. There are chemicals with both charges, or they're called reactive. Now they can react or change charges. And why it's important that we know what charge the detergent carries is because if you think of, first of all, the acid dye resistors have a negative charge. So what happens when we mix a negative with a positive? It's going to neutralize that charge, isn't it? So if you have a cationic cleaning product or a deodorizer or something like that going onto the carpet, you're going to render that acid dye resistor neutral. That carpet fiber is not going to be able to resist the acid dyes anymore. So you've just damaged the carpet fiber. So you want to be careful. You want to know first of all, I shouldn't spray cationic products onto a stain resist carpet ever. Now most products that do carry a cationic or a positive charge are going to be deodorizers, disinfectants, anti-static sprays, quaternary cleaners. Remember that name, quaternary cleaners. Those are going to carry a positive charge. They're cationic. Also, fungicides. And another thing you want to be aware of is you never want to mix a positive cleaning product with a negative cleaning product. If you do, it could result in a sticky residue. It's called a colloidal residue. That's going to need to be treated and rinsed out. So you don't want to have to do that. It just kind of makes a sticky mess of the carpet. So just remember, no cationics on stain resist carpet, and never mix a negative with a positive cleaning product, and you're okay. So that's it for this module. We'll see you again in the next one.